got our scars, though not the same. We've had our moments in the dark, can you relate? Our stars may cross, our paths may change. We get lost, but that just makes it worth the wait. So please stand yourself up straight, you're 10 feet tall. We could run around until the curtain calls. May you live out all your daydreams, big and small. But in this mess, we're still together after all.
I'm Marianne Sinisi, and I am the founder of Families United for Change. After starting the Families United for Change, just as a group for people to come and discuss and see how we could make changes in substance use disorder, I had started working on my own idea of a garden. That was back in 2020, January. By August of 2020, we were installed and put the last pieces in place. And because of the existence of this garden, I had met the founder of Altoona Gardens, Susan, and we've remained friends since. We advocate in different parts of the state, but we're good friends and believe in the same thing, that our children could be here today. And we both have the love of gardens, and so putting one over there in the park made perfect sense for the peace that I think it brings people. The memorial part of it is for anybody that we lost to substance use disorder, but as I went through the process, it first had started as strictly memorial, but then I felt like it was becoming more of like a cemetery, and that was something I didn't want to do. I wanted to acknowledge those that are in recovery. It's such a tough battle with the way that the community treats substance use disorder that I wanted to commend them for where they're at. They did it. They've succeeded. They're on the other side. And even though it is still a daily battle, I wanted them to be able to see that people do understand by the quotes that we chose and the design of the garden. It's a good place to go and find peace, I think, and have a reminder that not everybody feels that stigma and the shame is deserved. And so the more, like I said, time went on, I think those designs went into the garden for me, and that was very important because I wanted to wrap it with all the people that deserve to see that they are worth it. Just even doing the garden was educational for people. It was like a curiosity. People would be sitting there and they, well, what is S.U.D? What's that mean? And you were educating people as you did it. And one gentleman in particular said he lived sort of close by, but he just decided to take a walk that day, and he walked down and he was sitting on the bench while we were working on it, and he's one that asked me what the S.U.D meant, and I told him, and I turned and I said I lost my son in 2018, and he just looked like shocked, and I thought, oh, maybe he's somebody that's struggling or he's somebody in recovery, and he looked and he said, I don't know why I chose to walk down here today, but it must have been meant to be. He said, because I lost my daughter. It's been 3 years, and he said, I still today feel like that should be me that's gone, not her. I'm raising her children. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. He said, because there is so much shame that it's like you can't even talk about her. So it was a remarkable moment for both my husband and I, it really was. And it's very heartbreaking. Most parents that I meet with will say, I hate it that they won't talk about my child. It's like he didn't exist or she didn't exist. And they did exist, and they were wonderful, sensitive, kind human beings. Never in a million years did I think that I would lose my child and that I would be on the path that I am. But something is forcing me to do it. And I just feel like this is what I have to do for him and for so many others. The words love, hope, and support is your first eye-catching thing that you are drawn to, and those 3 words were very important to me because, again, I don't believe in the tough love. The theory of just let them fall and, they have to do this on their own, to me was very hard to watch and to try to implement in his life. So support, to me, is a very important word. And of course, hope, because you're always going to hope that something is going to come in his path that's going to help, whether that be a new medication, a better halfway house, or a qualified halfway house, a qualified counselor, a treatment facility that actually cares about the person. You're always hoping that that's going to happen when you're in that cycle. So hope was a very important word to put in there. And like I said, the quotes and things that we chose were ones that were very supportive of somebody and not the tough love, punishment-based idea. So those were handpicked by myself and some family members and a couple others that were affected. Choosing the granite, because I just thought granite itself is beautiful. So putting that quote in there was important. I had another friend, she actually wanted to pay to have the doves put in there because she lost a sister, the sculpture. The heart cut out was being able to say the heartbroken part of it. The artist who we worked with on that, he was in recovery, so of course, that was a large part of it too. Last year I had probably about 10 gentlemen from one of the inpatient facilities. They were allowed to come and help me. So with their help, we added to it and ended up buying them lunch, and we sat in the park. It was a beautiful day, and they just kind of laid around and enjoyed the day until they went back, and that means something to me, to make somebody feel like they're worthy. I wanted people to say, hey, she really did care about her kid, and hey, she really does think that she's not ashamed of him. And so I thought, oh my God, wouldn't that be really something amazing to do in this town, to show people in our town that they do matter. And so I approached our city mayor to see what the procedure was. Locally, we have what they call a Beautification Committee. So every town would probably be something different. You start with your mayor or start with your city council and see, who would allow you to do something like this. And then, you draw up your plan of your idea, maybe make a committee to see what kind of things you can afford to do, what you're going to do, how you're going to raise your funds. I had a church that participated some. Anything in the future that I add to it, I either raise the funds through my nonprofit now, or my husband and I ourselves have actually put our own money into it because it's important to both of us. I see people there a lot, just sitting and enjoying the day. Someone else told me they had a family that went there to celebrate, a one-year mark, and stood there with their coin and took pictures, and that's really nice to see that can be used for that. We've had a local church that actually he does a lot with people in recovery, and so he actually called me up one day and said, Marianne, I'm having Saturday service at the park. I'd like to see more of that. I think that it is a very important message. I would love to see the local facilities and stuff hold their meetings there if they want to have a meeting, or just participate in the park, to help maintain it. I think it's a gift to your community, and I think it's a gift to those of us that feel that our child died in a way that others judge. It's a way to show that they mattered. The person themselves that suffer, when you make them feel like they are worthy of everything that you're fighting for, they're the key, because they're going to start expecting better treatment when they're in the facilities. They're expecting better when they're in a halfway house, a sober house, a treatment facility, a job. All of that is, hey, I'm a human being that suffered something. That doesn't define me as a person. So that's kind of how I look at it, because I guess all the things that I saw him suffer is what angers me the most, because he did suffer. I would say be very persistent, and you might be surprised who would help participate in such a garden. Reach out, it doesn't hurt to ask, Most of all, I think awareness. I want the garden to be the awareness that it doesn't have to be the way that it is. We don't have to keep losing people at the record numbers that we are. And so what we're doing isn't working. What can we do completely different? The mothers that I have networked myself with now locally all just think that the hardest part for their child was finding the right treatments, finding the people that cared, finding the support, the love, the hope. So everyone that becomes involved, that's their main goal, is to show the person suffering or the person that's left behind, that they deserve all of those things, and so did their child. Other communities putting in these types of gardens is very important because, again, it's showing the community that you can't hide from substance use disorder. Let's put it out there and make it something beautiful. In fact, you know, I did that a lot with Sean. I have a door in my house that, in one of his worst times, you know, he was so frustrated and angry a lot of the times that, you know, it would come out in different ways. And he hit the door and left a mark because it was a metal door. And it really bothered me. Well, he ended up into a treatment facility at that point, or it was in a facility of some sort. And while he was there, I had an artist that I know come and paint the door for me because I was going to replace it. And my husband, there's nothing wrong with that door. But to me, that mark, it really bothered me because I knew that it bothered him because he said, you know, afterwards, of course, I'm so sorry I did that, Mom. You know, I left that mark there now permanently. And so I wanted to show him that that's not true. So I had the artist paint it, that you couldn't see that mark anymore. And so when he got out, he's like, what did you do? I said, it's beautiful, isn't it? I said, he really did a nice job. And I said, I wanted you to see that you can make something beautiful out of something that's ugly. And he just looked and he smiled. He had this wonderful grin and he said, God, you really are corny, aren't you? And then he just said, it's nice, Mom, it is really nice. So I just think that those kinds of things can be done. Like, why put somebody in a place that is dirty, ugly, you know, sterile, undeserving of, like, teaching the person that they deserve beauty, they deserve kindness, all the good things that all of us want. And that's kind of my mission, I guess, until the end of my time.
The winter's over, the sun is here. We'll be together, my darling dear. We'll walk the forest and disappear. We'll stick together and have no fear. We'll take these chances, don't be afraid of stormy weather. For this we're made, the coast is calling. We're on our way, firelight, watch the daylight fade.